We have Powerbang. He's in the house, guys, so you all could yell at him in the chat in a moment, but here we go. Let me get rid of this screen so you could see his face. There he is. See,
Boom.
Powerbang is in the house. What's going on, man? How you doing? Is everything all right?
Everything's good. I apologize for being super late. This is my freaking life, I swear. Yeah, I got no real good excuse besides I'm an a-hole. But yeah, hi.
Powerbang.
I've got as long as you want me to. I've got no hard stop. I'll stay as long as we need to. Anyways, hi, Goon and Echo, both of you all. I love you. I'm sorry. There we go.
It's okay, man. It's okay. We had Scooby HD in place of you. He even drew in the mustache. Some people were not fans of his representation of you, but he was in your place because we've been live for 20 minutes just so that people wouldn't be waiting. So
he was doing me better than me, apparently. So
I guess so. At least for those 20 minutes. At least.
Well, he was power slang. He wasn't power bang. He was power slang. We had him on.
So
welcome, brother. We're glad to have you, Powerbang.
And
what the heck's up, fellas?
The plan is, we've got so many
sir.
questions that came in for you, man.
Yeah.
More questions for you than we had come in for Darian, which is pretty funny stuff. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yep.
But it doesn't mean we're going to get to all of them. We're not going to be on here until the wee hours of the morning. But definitely some good stuff. We have questions about, obviously, Clash of Clans, about your experience on YouTube. We have questions about random stuff. And, of course, you know, knowing you being a Brawl Stars fan, people had some questions about that stuff as well. So, basically what we do on the show...
Global and Android Day, right?
Well,
right?
Yeah, we all know the answer to that question. It's in every comment section. But... the plan is to go through these questions, have some fun, take some questions toward the end from the community, and just basically the way the trap runs every single week. So get yourself settled in. I'm going to get things rolling, and that's going to be it. D-Peg throwing another donation out. Thank you so much, brother. A little bit of hype to him in the chat would be pretty sweet. And Powerbang, is there anything that you want to tell everyone about yourself? Like, who are you? For those of you who may not know Powerbang for whatever the reason may be.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. For those watching, I am, my name's Powerbang. I make YouTube videos. I make content around mobile games. Started out with Clash of Clans, and I'm a nerd, man. I like video games. I work in the industry now. Had an opportunity to kind of do some things, you know, outside my traditional job starting, I guess, it's been about a year and a half now that I haven't worked my 9 to 5, I guess, and that's been a little wild, but it's been a roller coaster so far. It's been a lot of fun, no regrets, and yeah, I mean that's me in a nutshell. Just really passionate about, you know, moving the mobile games industry specifically forward and trying to make this something that everybody can have fun with and do for a long period of time, you know, into the future. So that's me.
You're living the gamer's dream, man. Being able to, you know, to do it for a living. You know, I mean, that's great. Good for you. Congratulations on all that. But
and you do a fantastic job, by the way. Love your content, man.
Agreed. I agree.
I appreciate that.
So let's just jump into these questions. They are going to be in random order all over the place. So we're going to jump from one thing to the next, which makes it kind of interesting and kind of fun at the same time. So the first one is from Paul Salesman, and he asks, I have a question for all three of you guys. In the YouTube community, are all of the Clash of Clans YouTubers best buddies, or do you guys have any beef with other YouTubers? So we're starting off with a drama question. He even wants to know with who, which obviously we're not going to be answering that right there because we wouldn't want to do that. But
we're not. I mean, dude, let's get into the good stuff.
Well, you can if you want to. I can't afford to do that, PB. If you want to jump into that, sure.
No, honestly, like we have a really good relationship. Like you know, Ash and I are. We're best buds in real life. I mean, I think that comes through, you know, from what shows, I guess, through social media and the interwebs and whatnot. But that all started through YouTube. That wasn't something that, you know, we didn't know each other prior to. So that's one thing that I really have, you know, I value now, you know, after being in this now for, I guess, 3 years. It's cool. I found people that I consider true friends, not just Ash, but others. You know, watching the stream right now. Hey, Kaya, what's up? Trying to track me down and whatnot. But yeah, as far as like YouTubers and stuff go, I try to be really friendly and helpful and available, you know, to anybody that is looking to like get a hold of me. I truly want to help people like get to where they're going, help them out on their journey. And I don't really have anybody that I don't get along with. You know what I mean? Like there's no arch enemy out there, or, you know, even people that like people think that I'm competitive with or whatever. Like, we're friendly, we're cool. It's all good. And I got a lot of respect for anybody that's, you know, that's working hard, that's grinding, that's hustling. I have a lot of respect for that. So, you know, no beef with anybody, so to speak. Not an exciting answer. And, you know, I have a lot of relationships with content creators all over the place. I mean, hundreds of people, and try to do a lot to help them out behind the scenes. So,
no, I got to say, PB, before you ever, you know, before I was ever into YouTube heavy or whatever, you always had time for me to answer my questions, DMs, whatever. So like, and definitely, you know, a lot of people don't realize a lot of us content creators are in group chats, and we talk to each other. Like, I don't have any beef with anybody. You know, there's maybe a couple of guys maybe I wouldn't necessarily collab with, but it's not like
right.
I don't dislike them or whatever. It's just that maybe we don't match up for a collab.
Exactly.
But for the most part, like, just like you said, anybody that does what we do, you have to respect them. I mean, it's a grind and it's a lot of work, and I respect that. So yeah,
for sure.
No real beef.
And regardless of like where you're at in your journey, in your career, whatever you want to call it, you know, for those of us that have gone through it already, like, we know what it was like, you know, going through that. And so it's like, just naturally you look at that person, you're like, dude, salute, you know, like I get it. So, right. Yeah, man. And that's cool. I remember talking to you, you know, a long time ago, and that was good stuff. And Echo too. And it's really cool to see like the growth of you guys and this show in particular. I've tuned in the last few weeks now, and you guys have been getting better and better. The guests have been great. The questions have been awesome. And so it's really, you know, it's a pleasure to be here.
Hey, I appreciate you coming on. I do appreciate that. It's been awesome. And I just have to agree with what they say about the whole beef stuff. There's not so much beef. You just stay away from people that you don't want to deal with, just like you would in life, right? The same difference.
Exactly, man. It's like, I'm not going to have a beer with every single person, but, you know.
No, but what I did see from you and Ash Powerbang is, you know, you talk about how you help people and stuff, and that's completely true, because I just saw a video today of Apocalypse, the young YouTuber in Brawl Stars, and I mean, we're talking about someone just starting out, and you and Ash like probably made that person's day, maybe made their year with doing the interviews with them, and I just thought it was really, or her, I thought it was pretty cool, and it just shows that you're not just out looking for someone that's going to make you grow and stuff like that. You're actually out to help. I thought that was cool, worth mentioning. So.
For sure. I watched that video, by the way.
It's tough to do that with every single person. I know there's some people watching right now that they're like, well, why hasn't he done that with me yet? You know what I mean? And it is really difficult. I mean, because I keep a really busy schedule. Like, I mean, you guys know how it is, but, you know, a lot of people probably don't. They probably look at, you know, what we do, and they're like, oh, these guys play video games for a living, right? Like, right? How hard could it be? But yeah, I work 16 hours a day easily, every day. And there's like no days off. And when there is, you're behind, and it's just like, oh my God. So I can't do it with everybody, but I really enjoy doing that. And like Apocalypse in particular was somebody that just, I really felt was ambitious, driven, asking the right questions. And for being a 14-year-old girl, like on the come up, like, I was like, wow, this is I'm impressed. You know, I admire the hustle, and you know what? Yeah, I'll give you 20 minutes of my time or whatever to come do an interview. It wasn't a big deal. So it's cool.
No, that was cool.
Right.
And it looks like we're having some lag on the stream. I'm trying to fix it as we go right here, but we'll just keep on going. That's a first, but whatever, happens. Let's get on to our next question. Goon, do you have any questions over there that we can hop into while I try mixing up with this stuff over here?
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Let me get into my questions right here. All right.
I'm gonna tweet too.
Oh, cool. Go for it, man.
Get some more people.
All right. Looks like we got it. We're rolling good now. We're rolling good. All right. Cool.
All right. So my question is from the Ellie Show, BAB3. As we all love the competitive nature of this game, and all have our rivals, which is that one player, clan, or family of clans that you just love to hate coming up against in play, and why?
Love to hate.
I guess they're trying to say that clan that you know is going to give you a good battle, have a hard time, and just be challenges. That's what I'm assuming they're coming out with that one.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of you know, because honestly, I can give so many clans in that answer. We've been around a long time. WHF is one of the OG, war clans, I guess. And, I guess if I had to pick one, I would say One Hive probably, just because we've been like that media clan, like in the spotlight or whatever. But truthfully, we don't like on the field, so to speak, digitally.
Yeah,
we don't have like a big rival with One Hive. They started off beating our butts like when we were coming up a little bit. I think we started out our first 4 wars. I think they won them all. Mm-hmm. And then we've won a couple since then. So it's like, I don't think there's one big thing either way. But I guess if I had to pick one, I would go One Hive. And it was a lot cooler when Jake was around too, because we had like the dueling personalities or whatever. A lot of people viewed us as like competing with each other, and I've always kind of been rooting for him and what he's doing, and I'd like to think he's the same with me, but who knows. But yeah, I guess I'd go with One Hive. But there's a lot of other clans out there that we've been warring against. I got to give a shout out to Buy Forever as well. Those guys always seem to bring it against us.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if it is the overall, like they just seem to step up their game every time they come to play us. We are not expecting them to go, completely perfect and put up 115 out of 20 stars or whatever, and make us have to like drop 72 Town Hall 10 trips to pick up the win. But they seem to do it every time they play us. So that's another one that I feel like plays us really, really tough. So I guess those would be my answers.
I've been there. I've been over there at BYE or by BFE, and those guys are good, man. Amazing guys over there. We just played your feeder today, finished up today against WHF Rising. I rolled a 6-pack that war PV. I did my stuff.
What was the final, my friend?
We got smacked, dude. They got us by 3-4, man.
I didn't know. I wasn't even setting you up for that, but I had to ask. I just wanted to know how my boys are doing down in Rising.
They're
That's
doing
cool.
Good.
They did a nice job
you got the 6-pack
up top.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a good job by them.
Oh yeah.
All right,
great job.
Let's move on to the next question. It says it's from Lil Marsk, and this person asked, question for Powerbang. It seems like you're sometimes going to or coming from Finland around the same time that a major update drops. With travel, how do you have time to adjust for your content creation? Yeah, so I'm sure that's a problem. You got these trips, you're gone for a week or two. How do you put out your vids?
So that's a great question. Who's that? Lil Marsk?
Yep.
Man, you really kind of hit a sore spot there, with me as a content creator. So like as a YouTuber, right? Like obviously big updates are like the cream of the crop as far as content goes. That's when people are most active on YouTube, searching around, trying to find either sneak peeks as far as like what's coming, or they're just trying to learn more about it. So for a content creator, update time is bread and butter, and that's when you see your most growth as well. So if you do get a little bit of publicity, if you do get that share from Supercell, it basically, as far as my channel is concerned, I could be looking at a couple thousand subscribers, from one video. And that's a big deal, in this industry when you're trying to grow and trying to do whatever. And also hundreds of thousands of views potentially. Not every video goes off, not every update piece of content goes, but if there is one that's going to go viral, it's got a great chance if you do a good job with your content. So couple that with the fact that I've kind of been in the past, not like the face of the game or whatever, but like I go out and I do a lot of hosting of these streams, these updates, these events. And when I'm there, I'm busy, like 24/7, wake up and be on a bus at 8:30 or 9 in the morning. And I don't get home until 4 or 5 in the morning, typically the next day. So it's like a 20-hour day, and it's a slog, man. No downtime. You get home from, doing your shoots, your voiceover work, your whatever. Even if it's sightseeing, you don't have time to be making content or whatever. You get back, and it's like, okay, dinner's in 5 minutes. Go throw your stuff down and come back. And you're like, okay. So very rarely is there downtime. So a lot of times we don't get special privileges as far as like getting content early so we can prepare to come over, because most often it's not ready. Like the final versions of whatever it goes out is typically done 2 days before or the day before. Then they send it to Apple, it gets approved or whatever. But yeah, that's been really, really difficult. So I have to find a way sometimes to kind of sneak out Be like, all right, guys, I'm not feeling dinner tonight. I'm going to stay back at the hotel, and just kind of, fly under the radar. And I'm a YouTuber. The reason I'm here is, because I make these videos that have apparently made me popular enough to get here, right? And it would be a shame that if because of coming here to do this, I was no longer able to do that. And they seem to sympathize with that and be like, all right, cool, no problem, do your thing. So it's been difficult, but it's something that you just kind of have to find time and swing and do it the best you can. So I don't put out the best content that I would like to do. Like, I don't hit my own standard of excellence, I guess, around those times when I'm traveling, because I'm like operating from my laptop. I don't have my studio. Everything's different, but I just do the best I can.
Yeah. Is there any pre-recording and you just have them scheduled for a week ahead, or is that tough to do?
For guys like Ash, they seem to be able to knock that out. Me, not so much, man. With a wife and 3 kids, I can spend only so much time away. Like, I work a ton as it is already. So, and that's to keep up with like 1 video a day and, doing my, normal obligations, helping people out, whatever. And actually playing the games, right, that I'm supposed to be playing. So you tack on like, oh, you're going to be gone for 8 days, like make 8 videos. And the notice that I normally get for these trips is maybe a couple of weeks at best. So, you're going to be gone in 14 days and you're going to be gone for 8 days. So it's like, you've got to basically double up your production every day until you leave almost, until, if you really want to meet that goal. And for me, that's just not feasible a lot of the times. Mm-hmm. So I try to get like maybe half of them done, and pre-scheduled, and then maybe fill in like a Q&A or like some sort of vlog or whatever, like when I'm traveling, to try to like make up the rest. Okay. Or I just don't upload, and just do real life. So that happens too sometimes.
Goon, I know that you record stuff days in advance, right? You have a good backlog. You can go away for a month.
Not a month, man. I try to stay about 5-6 days ahead. I do get caught with that at times. The Christmas update caught me big time. Mm-hmm. But hopefully this time it won't, being that the NDA is in effect. Maybe I'll have a clue this time. But I do try to record ahead in case something happens, that I've got, content, because daily content is tough and you don't want to let your subs down. So I try to stay ahead as much as possible.
I hear that, man. That's the hardest part, is not only all the people that subscribe to you, that come for your content, you feel like you're letting them down if you miss an upload or whatever. Like, I just missed one yesterday, and it's just like, I've got so much stuff going on. I just couldn't get to it, and I was just like, well, crap, I'll try to make it up tomorrow. But yeah, I feel so terrible when that happens. And then when you do miss, YouTube's algorithm actually punishes you as well. I mean, you don't get recommended as much if you miss your frequency that you normally upload with. So yeah, you just kind of have to keep all that in mind, and you have to kind of weigh like, all right, how quality do I need to get this versus just getting something out there. So yeah, I'm a perfectionist, so I'm always trying to make it good. You know what I mean? And I don't know if I hit that bar, but I try.
You do good. You do good, man.
Good job, man.
You do good.
Well, thanks, buddy.
I got a question. This is not any of the viewers, but okay, for me, like, and I'm just a small content creator. I literally, every time I wake up, my DMs are crazy, like on the apps, the social apps I have. And I try to answer everybody and try to take time. But literally, man, it could take over an hour to answer DMs from me. I can only imagine you, man. Like, is that pretty real for you?
Okay, that's the question. Is that real? Yes. Yeah. It is bananas, honestly. I consider myself, as far as being accessible and findable, one of the most accessible YouTubers of my size out there. Like, if you really want to get a hold of me, you can find me. That doesn't mean I necessarily get back to you every single time, as many of you guys have known and found out. But I try. Like, I have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands, of messages every day across all. I mean, you guys know all the apps that are out there, and I don't know. I've got, like, on my phone, I've got a comms folder with like 11 different communications apps, and of which like probably 5 of them are like daily use, mandatory type of things. I try my best to get back to everybody, but there are times when it falls through the cracks. Like, when I look over at my Discord right now, I'm looking at like my unread messages, and it's it's in the thousands, and like just my own WHF Clash servers, 1,041
Wow.
messages. I mean,
Wow.
at some point you just kind of have to, and because I used to try to get back to everything, including every single comment on YouTube. But now that there's hundreds of comments every single video, it's simply impossible. So I try to stay for about the first hour of every video that I put out, and I respond to people as appropriate, and then that's all I can do. I have to get back into life and like doing what I do. But yeah, I try my best, but yeah, it got to the point where, like you said, it takes hours to get back to everybody, and it's not feasible. So yeah, that's where it's at for me.
Oh my Lord! Thank you for that donation,
Oh
man.
my God! How about you,
Much love to
Echo?
you.
Gary, thank you, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Big props.
When I'm a day or two ahead, I'm happy. It's really nice to just not have that stress that you could get sick if you have to get sick, or you could just get tied up with something and not have to put out a video. I usually try to stay a day ahead. It does not always happen, but that's what I try and do. That's what I set out for. So that's usually my plan. Powerbang, earlier we were talking about sports a little bit, and I was a big football guy when I was in school, and Goon doesn't like sports. I know that you were into sports and you played some sports, so let's revisit that question for you.
What a nerd. Come on, Goon. Yeah, man. I was an athlete growing up. Always have been. Always will be, I guess.
At heart.
Yeah, my life kind of diverted. I took the right fork in the road, and all of a sudden I'm a gamer. But grew up playing pretty much everything. I started out pretty serious into like soccer, football, for those of you international folks that are wanting to, drag me through the mud on that. But yeah, I did pretty well with that. I actually made the Olympic development team when I was 15. Wow. And when I did that, I quit. I didn't even end up doing it. I was just like, you know what? I'm tired of playing soccer. I'm going to go play something else. So I started playing football, and then ended up being the quarterback at my high school in football. And then I played that for a couple of years, and then I quit that too because I wanted to play baseball and focus on that. So I had been playing baseball the whole time. That ended up being something that, like, my dad always kind of told me, like, hey, man, we're kind of counting on you to get that athletic scholarship, wink, wink, if I know what I mean. So I'm like, okay, cool. So it looked like baseball was going to be my best chance at that. And it turned out he was right. I had offers from really all over the country.
Wow.
And I decided to go with the place that made it the easiest financially, and that was University of Pacific and in California. And it was a Big West school, and I looked at the league, and the competition was more important to me than the actual where I was going. Like, they were average every year. It was like a 500 team or whatever. We were going up against like national powerhouses in baseball, and I was like, oh, this is great. I was like, sign me up. So I went there, ended up having Tommy John surgery on my arm in my first year, got hurt, and that kind of sucked. So I ended up, rehabbing it for about a year and a half, and just didn't get quite back to where I was trying to be, where I was before. And then I ultimately quit, came back home to Washington State, and finished out my schooling here and got a job. And that's kind of where that was. And I played basketball all through high school as well, but I was good, but it wasn't ever, it was just fun. It wasn't like a serious thing. So that's kind of my sports history.
So you were a legit athlete. You played a little bit of everything, man. That's pretty awesome.
I got called in the 10th round of the 2002 MLB draft and passed up on an offer from the Phillies. And that's, I think, my one regret from baseball is that I didn't sign, because I feel like I'd still be hurt and I would still, be where I'm at today, but I just have a little more money in the bank, So, no big deal though. But honestly, like, no regrets with anything that happened, because I wouldn't have met I already knew her, but I wouldn't have gotten into a relationship with my wife, had my family, all that good stuff. Probably wouldn't be where I'm at today. When I did get hurt and I was in the cast, that's when I picked up Counter-Strike and started playing that. I ended up taking it to a professional level. And I played Pro CS back in like the early, mid 2000s. And that was like what ignited my love for like esports and stuff. Like, I was always interested in games, but that was when I was like, dude, this is awesome. This is exactly like real sports. So yeah, that's kind of what ignited the passion that I have today, I guess, was that injury, oddly enough, now that I think about it.
Echo, they were saying something about restart the stream or something. They say something froze, or you guys
It's looking fine for me. I'm watching the stream right now. It's looking okay. Just hit that refresh button if you have an issue. I was actually streaming to start on my settings for recording, so it was all high quality, and that's why we were having some issues in the beginning. Plus, there's a storm. It's snowing with thunder and lightning outside, which is kind of crazy. So
they said it's good now. It's good now.
Yeah,
great.
Okay.
I was having some issues earlier as well. I tried the refresh, and that also worked for me.
Yeah.
So it's looking solid. I mean, Jesus, you guys are just so handsome. I'm looking at that stream right now.
Thank you,
man.
PB, something that I have to say while it's on my mind. Your setup there, man. I love your. I think it's probably my favorite of everyone out there on YouTube. Just the dimensions in the room, the colors. I just love everything. You did a nice job with it.
Thank you. I appreciate it, man. And the funny thing is, it's nowhere close to where I want it to be at. Like,
really,
it's coming along. I've got so many little like props and accessories and things that I want to hang on the wall. But like the biggest thing for me is electrical. Like all these things have cords, and there is not like I could make it look cool like on set behind me, but in the room itself, it would look so stupid. Like the way, I would have to set it up right now. So I'm trying to plan on how to set some things up, get some, stuff on the wall. Like I have like an on-air recording sign that lights up. I've got, like my subscriber count, little smart clock or whatever that I could post. I don't know.
That
it's a whole lot of little cool things that I could do that I want to do that I haven't like had time to figure out how to make work yet for both real life that actually looks good in the room, but also on camera. So I'm hoping to like continue to upgrade as we go on, but I'm really happy with, how far it's come. I've been in this place for about 7 months now, and I've done a lot with it in the time I've been here, but yeah, I dig it so far. So far, so good.
Well, and congrats on the new house. I know, like you said, 7 months out, but that's good stuff. It's exciting.
Thank you. Yeah, we're loving it.
And on the sports topic, this is what got me back into it. We have Azrael. They were asking Powerbang, what's it going to take to convert you from a Seahawks fan to a Saints fan? I'm assuming that that's not going to happen for you.
I think that's a paid position. No, honestly, I was born and raised a Hawks fan. I've been watching the Seahawks since probably 1985, and I remember back in the day when Kurt Warner was throwing to, not Kurt Warner, Dave Craig. Kurt Warner was a running back. Here I am thinking whatever. But Steve Largent and like all these. I'm dating myself here, but Cortez Kennedy on the defensive line. So like I'm not one of those bandwagon guys that hopped on around the time they won the Super Bowl. I've been watching these dudes for like 3 decades, and I'm not super pumped with like the last couple of years, but hey, what do you do? Thick and thin, I guess. But yeah, man, Saints probably not going to happen. However, the Saints are one of the teams that I do enjoy watching when I'm not watching the Seahawks. Like I really I'm a big Drew Brees fan. That guy's always fun to watch play. So, and when God, who was it? Why can't I not think of his name? It's the running back. He doesn't play for him anymore. He was the old USC guy. Won the Heisman, but didn't because they took it away. I can't remember. Goon's like, I don't know.
I have no idea, man. I watch YouTube videos. I just watch YouTube videos, man. I don't watch sports.
No, I hear you. So yeah, I do dig. I watch the Saints. I dig them. So yeah.
That's a true fan right there. You like them when even they're the worst. Like I'm a Giants fan, man. I'm always going to be a Giants fan, even this season. It's just you deal with it.
For sure, man. Even when Eli's throwing interceptions, it's all good.
It's not his fault. It's not his fault. Line. It's the line. All right, we got
that Odell Beckham though, dude. He's a fun one to watch. So that's cool.
He's amazing.
So I got a question. Right here. We got to get off sports because this is a very pressing question. This is from Savage, the Godfather, and he says, "Powerbang. I'll keep it simple. Do you love cake?"
Honestly, I hate it. I'm not a big cake fan at all. Like that, that started. I don't know, a lot of you guys probably know that story, but I'll tell it anyway. I was in Finland. It was one of my first live streams being at Supercell, right? So I was excited. I was logged on to the Twitch chat while I was streaming. And because I think it was either Pat and Galadon or it was Pat and Galadon hosting the stream. And they were the boys, right? They were on the camera the whole time, and I was just the analyst. I was that guy they went to in the Pekka Cafe. And, hey, Powerbang, could you tell us what happened? And, yeah, sure, guys. So I'd hop in and I'd do the play-by-play or whatever. And so I was only on camera, 30, 45 seconds at a time, and then I'd be off for 3 or 4 minutes. So, I'd set my phone down or whatever off camera and then hop back on it, and I'd just sit there and wait until it was about my time to talk again. And I was the one controlling whether or not I talked, because I would highlight in real time. I'd be like, okay, timestamps, 2:10 left in the raid to 1:30 left in the raid. Something cool happened. Can you, put that up on the screen and then roll it when we're done? And then the producers tell them in their ear that they have something to go to me. When they come to me, it's on the screen. So that was kind of my role. Anyways, reading the chat, these guys are like, Powerbang, you're in the chat. This obviously isn't live. It's BS, whatever. And I'm like, no, guys, it's live. I promise you. And they're like, no, we don't believe you. Okay, guys, whatever. Like, I'm just doing my thing. And so somebody was like, you know what? Say something about the cake in the next scene. And I'm like, okay, that's easy enough. So I talked to my camera guy, and I was like, hey, man, can you focus in deep on this cake when we switch to my scene and just pan up to me? And so he did it. He zoomed in, it panned up to me, and I've got a little monitor that I can see, like, what's on the camera while I'm talking. So it was, like, perfect. He gets up to me, and I'm, like, talking. I'm like, oh, how about that cake? It looks so delicious, whatever. And then went into my replay. And, dude, when I sat back down after they cut away from me, I looked at the chat. They were dying. They were like, oh, my God, it's real. No way. And they kept, like, egging me on after this, like, do more, do more. And so every scene, it was kind of like one-upping the last. And this was probably towards the last third of the stream or whatever. And somebody was like, eat the cake or whatever. And they're like, no, whatever. He won't do it. And I was like, you want to bet? So I took the plate as we went out to we had probably 10 seconds where I had to get from backstage to the main stage. And I just walked out with the plate of cake. I didn't ask anybody. I just took it, went out there. And as we were doing the sign off or whatever, I'm just like, having a bite. And of course I get memed to hell. And I knew I would. I didn't care. I'm not a sensitive person like that. So the cake meme and all that was in good fun. I had a great time with it. But in all honesty, I'm not a cake fan. And the funny thing is, the next stream that I did, unannounced to me, they bring out a cake at the very end, and like they gave it to me, and I'm like, no, this did not become a thing. Like, no. And so every stream that I've been back since then, probably 8 or 9 times to Finland, they've had a cake with my name on it. And finally, I just started placing orders. I was like, if you're going to bring me a cake, like, bring me an ice cream cake or something, like, actually good, So I did that, and they actually did it. They brought a frozen ice cream cake in. I was like, you guys are awesome. Like, I'm not a fan of cake, but they were really cool for doing that.
That's funny.
Right on.
So you have fun over there. It's not just all business. There's a lot of fun that goes on. That's cool.
Oh, yeah. It's business, but it's always fun. Like, the team over there, I can't say enough about the quality of the hosting and, like, the actual hospitality of Supercell. They're great. Fantastic. In fact, everything is kind of planned out. You know what you're doing. You don't have to think. My very first trip, I literally didn't open my wallet until I hit the airport coming home. Everything was handled. Drivers, like, the whole works. And I was just like, man, this is a professional organization.
That's cool.
So it was really, really cool.
Yeah, that is nice. Let's get into another question here. This one's from Jackadunga, and he's talking about Brawl Stars in this one. So all right. I know that you're really excited about that game coming out. So do you think that Brawl Stars esports scene will be stagnant, will catch up with Clash Royale, or be something even bigger than Clash Royale after global release? So its potential. How do you feel about its potential?
Jackadunga, I think that that's a great question. I don't know about out of the gate how it's going to go. I have reservations right now about how long they're keeping it in beta and how long they're dragging their feet to, like, get this thing out. Ultimately, I feel like they haven't marketed the game at all. Literally, you've seen nothing from Brawl Stars as far as trying to get people to download it, right? Like, they don't really need to market it right now. All they're trying to do is get, like, test and use case data from us. And that's why they opened it up in a few more countries, because they were really trying to revamp, like, the early game. And in order to do that, they need new players. So they're like, well, let's just open it up in a couple more countries and we'll get the data that we need. So that's kind of what's going on. When they turn on that floodgate, when you start seeing the Super Bowl commercials and that type of stuff that we've seen in other games like Clash Royale, Clash of Clans, I would imagine that'll take off just like any other Clash, game or Supercell game has. As far as the esports potential, I see it being bigger than Clash Royale eventually, because more people can be involved. A team atmosphere is built straight into it. It's real time, live interaction with your character. It's not tap and then it's going to do what it's going to do. It's out of your hands, right? Like, you can't control it after the fact. So I think there's so many more things that make Brawl Stars a better competitive game than Clash Royale, although the success of Clash Royale is impressive. It's the most watched mobile esport of 2017, and that's a high bar for the industry to catch, not just Brawl Stars. So coming out of the gates, I don't think it'll be instant, but I do think that there's enough interest there from the professional organizations, from the pro players that have already picked up the game and love it. I think there's enough interest to ultimately make a pro scene and make competition happen. And I think that's a big focus of the team as well at Brawl Stars. They realize that people want to play this competitively. And so they're trying to design modes and such where that can happen. So I don't think it'll be instant, but I do think it has the potential to get there eventually.
I mean, obviously you love the game. I mean, it's something that you enjoy playing. You could tell when you watch your videos on it. So
yeah, no, I definitely love it. And it's always weird posting something new on the channel, but anything that I post on my channel, I like. I feel like it's at least good enough to where I feel like you guys, maybe not everybody likes it, because you guys know how it is. They come for Clash, and, if you try something else, some people are offended, like, oh my God, he plays something else. No. And it is what it is. I play more than just one game, and Brawl Stars really, to be fair, I had really low expectations for it when they invited me out to take a look at the alpha and like the early stuff. I had heard from some people that saw it before me that it wasn't that good. They weren't super impressed, whatever. And so I went into it with like a really low bar, and then I played it, and it was so much fun. The environment that we played it in was, we were at Supercell headquarters the first time we got to see it, and there was probably 10 or 12 of us YouTubers sitting there, and we had like 10 people in a showdown that were all sitting in the same room. And it was like, me and like Ash and Alvaro and Molt and like all these guys, like we were all sitting there and talking like mad crap to each other and like doing showdown. This is before teaming and spinning was a thing. Like, people were, out there for themselves, and oh my God, it was so much fun. And from that moment, I was like, dude, this is amazing. So I saw like the camaraderie, like the teammate aspect of it, and like the potential for the game early on. And it's gotten better and better as time has gone on. And they've really fixed a lot of the glaring issues. And I feel like it's really, really close to where it needs to be in order for it to be mass consumed and be successful. So hopefully, fingers crossed. I really am hoping for my channel's sake too that, it takes off and goes global soon. I play it a lot, and I would love for the 99% of people that can access it right now to be able to like relate when they watch a video.
Well, I don't have it, but I do watch occasional Brawl Star video that you post because it is entertaining ultimately. But I can't play it. I think it's not available for Droid, right?
That's correct. It's completely unavailable for Android right now, and it's only available in Norway, Finland, Sweden, and Canada for iOS. So it's a limited. Limited to get right now as far as, who can play. So that's something that, and like, as far as you guys know how your stats are, but my demographic is like 78% of my mobile users are Android. So it's like, I know that 4 out of 5 people can't play the game, even if they wanted to, that watch my channel. And that to me is why I've stepped back from posting it really regularly. Like, when it comes out, not going to lie, I'm probably going to daily upload it. Like, when it goes global, because I love it that much. I play it that often. And, I'd be lying if I didn't see what Clash Royale did to a bunch of YouTubers' channels, and I just was like, nah, not gonna do it, And boy, I don't know if I have regrets on that or not, but sheesh. Like my boy Clash with Ash, we were roughly the same size, and now he's more than double my size. So crazy.
Well, I did notice the new artwork on your channel a couple of days ago, which yeah, I did notice. It looks great. It has a good new feature to it. I liked it a lot.
Thanks, man.
You're welcome.
It's temporary-ish. I'm trying to figure out what the heck I'm doing. It's one of those things where I have a hard time designing for myself. Like, I'm a graphic designer and I can do stuff for other people all day long, but when it comes to me, I struggle. And I don't know if you guys suffer from the same, like, looking at your own material and being like, yeah, I just don't like it. Like, everything that I do, I don't like. And ultimately, I end up hiring out somebody to do it, and I'm just like, do I want to spend the money right now to do that, or whatever. So that's kind of where I'm at. Hopefully it sticks around for a bit. But yeah, that's something that I'm always wrestling and struggling with internally, is like how I'm putting myself out there, I guess.
Yeah, how you look. I just hire her out. I get Evil Queen to do my stuff, and
yeah,
she does
she's
a
great.
nice job. I'm very happy with whatever she puts together.
EQ.
But you mentioned Ash and his getting into Clash Royale. He's probably the most successful person of transitioning, in my opinion, that I've seen. I mean, he was Clash of Clans, and he made the transition like complete. He doesn't do much Clash of Clans at all, mostly Clash Royale, and he's like you said, the growth is there, his following is there, he's still supported. He did it well, and it's nice that if you're going to be getting more into Brawl Stars, you have him as one of your best buds to kind of give you advice along the way.
It's been really nice, and like that's something as far as like being a content creator and having like the friends that I do. There's a lot of people that have done this before me, and I can ask them like, hey, how was it for you? Another couple of examples I can throw out there is Molt and Nick at Night.
Yeah.
Both of those guys were Clash of Clans or Boom Beach. And that was their primary gig. And like Molt was like all Clash of Clans, and that was kind of how he came up to about 400,000 subscribers. And then he switched from that to like Bloons battles, and then that was brief though. That was like a flash in the pan almost. Did Bloons for a little bit and then went to Clash Royale entirely, and now him and Nick are sitting at 2.6 million subscribers, more or less off of the growth of Clash Royale specifically. And they put on like a couple million subscribers in a year. And I was just like, God, like that is just insane. I mean, my content is probably a lot more similar and modeled after Ash than Molt and Nick, but there's some similarities I think you can draw across like all these people that have done it before. But yeah, I mean, if you're in the right place, the right time, you prepare the right way as far as the search engines go and that kind of thing, I feel like there's definitely a wave to ride. And if it couples with your passion for the game and it's something that you're going to be doing anyways, and you can also strategically position yourself to ride that wave, I think that is a great thing. So that's, being very transparent. That's what I'm hoping to do with my channel and Brawl Stars. But at the same time, I do not anticipate dropping Clash of Clans or anything like that. Like I know Ash was like, well, peace, late. And, he doesn't do Clash of Clans anymore because he doesn't enjoy it. But honestly, I'm enjoying the game. But I do want to see new stuff. That's my biggest thing right now is just stale, like it's been out for so long. Haven't seen a new troop since March of 2016. So that's 1 year, 11 months ago. That's a long time, for a game to not introduce really anything that isn't quality of life or, a major feature that no one plays. So no offense to the builder-based people, but yeah, that's kind of where it is for me.
Okay. And that brings us to this next question from Azrael again. And I basically could probably answer this for you from what you just said, but it says, if you were to wake up tomorrow and Supercell pulled the plug on Clash of Clans, what do you do? Which game do you move to? So why don't we start with Goon, because you haven't said something in a while, Goon, and then Ash, and PB, you could say what you want to say.
Do it.
For me,
that's your channel, Goon. Like, you're Clash, man.
Yeah.
I'm a Clash guy, man. And the thing is, like, for me, it would be really hard because I don't have the availability for Brawl Stars. I do play first-person shooters on PlayStation, but there's just millions of those, man. And that's not really a market I want to go after at all. So, like, for me, that would be tough. I'm really hoping to see what Jake's game turns into. Kind of curious about that. But maybe Brawl Stars, if it ever comes to Android, maybe I'll download it and see what it's about. But Clash of Clans is a game that, when I downloaded it and it was on a Super Bowl commercial, which, by the way, I've told that story a million times. I wasn't necessarily watching the Super Bowl, but it was on. But anyway, that commercial interests me. I downloaded it, and it's kind of captivated me and kept me. I'm always trying different things and always trying to grow as an attacker. So, like, I keep interested in it, but I guess I'd have to cross that bridge, man. I can tell you right now, I seen you playing Lineage. Some of my teammates play Lineage. That game doesn't really do it for me. I'm not an MMO kind of guy. But Brawl Stars is kind of similar to a first-person shooter, but it's more third, I guess you'd say.
Right.
So maybe that would interest me. I don't know. I've played World of Tanks on the phone, and it was okay. But so far for me right now, Cock is Bay, man. That's it.
I hear you, man. Yeah, and things like Lineage, that's it's definitely something that it's not for everybody. I totally understand that. I'm having fun with it though, and I'm spending enough time playing it that I figured I'd post it every now and then. And it helps that they want to help sponsor the videos as well. Like, obviously there's some incentive there to do that, but again, I get offers like that every day from all over the place, and I turn 95% 5% of it down, you know. If it's not something that I'm interested in and like want to play myself, like here a big way that I gauge new games is if it makes me want to spend money like to play or to get farther along in it. Like that's a sad like reality, but if I'm sitting there like, oh, I need to drop $20 on this, I got to get that trinket, I got to get that stat, I got to get, you know, whatever. And like if I feel like that, I'm like, okay, dang it, it's got its hooks into me. I feel like it's got something. Yeah, I'm invested. And for me, you know, I guess the money is it sucks sometimes, but it's what I do for a living, you know. So I try to pay my way to speed up time in order to experience stuff a little bit faster, so I can make a judgment one way or another on if it's good or if it's not. So that's like the first indicator for me typically on a new game is if it makes me want to, you know, get out the credit card. Sucks, but you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, and for me, if Clash of Clans died, I'd probably transition over to Clash Royale. I did play Brawl Stars and make some content for it, but the update came. I have to travel back up to Canada so that I can get that that update going. But you know, I did like that game also a lot. It's just I found myself trying to do 3 games on my channel, because basically if I play a game, it's going to go on my channel. That's just what it turns into. And doing 3 games was just stretching me a little thin. So basically I had to decide. And you know, the most popular thing on the channel is Clash of Clans. I play Clash Royale all the time, so I decided to stick with those 2, at least for the time being, and we'll see what the future brings. But you know,
you know, if I had to answer that question myself, I'm in the same boat as you, Echo, a little bit. Like I currently play Clash of Clans, Brawl Stars, and Lineage, all 3 on the channel. I dabble in Clash Royale off camera. I do play, contrary to like popular belief that I don't play at all. I just don't cover it. I don't have the passion for it to do, and I don't feel that I can offer anything to the community that isn't already covered by the multitude of creators that are out there. If I can't do something differently or at an expert level where I feel like I'm one of the best places to come to as far as like strategy is concerned, or just being relatable, then I just pass on it. And that's something that I've done with a lot of games that I play. I just am like, whatever. I can't really do anything with this on the internet. So I'll play it quietly or whatever. But you know, there's been some other games that have come out recently that I would love to play. I just know how I get as far as my competitive nature, and I know that there's only so much time in the day to try to climb the ranks of whatever game I'm playing. And right now, I feel like 4 games for me is like the max of what I can focus on at one time.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
And it is a lot, but this is my full-time gig, so I keep that in mind. Like, you know, I've got to like look forward to like what's coming as well. I always have to like keep my head on a swivel and look to what's next, because you know, there's life cycles with this stuff. Clash of Clans is not going to be around forever, and then what, right? So you know, if that goes away, does my career, does my, you know, and I'm angling to say hell no, you know, no, it's not going to happen. I'm going to continue to do what I love and hopefully be able to still put food on the table for my family. But the only way to do that is by looking ahead and being smart with, you know, where I position myself. Now, as far as like enjoying stuff, like it still might be 100%. Like I'm all in on Clash. I love it. But I'm still like cruising the App Store, you know, every week trying to see what else is out there, like read about what's new, like maybe, you know, check out some videos on what's coming up, and then try to get in early on something that might be a hit. You never know.
I got to say, Lineage, it exploded. Like that's for sure.
I think a big reason for that is their marketing budget. Like they came to play. Like they were serious, because they not only sponsored like everyone under the sun to make YouTube videos and to do streams and all this stuff. They were like the lead sponsor at TwitchCon. They were you know, making commercials and stuff. And like, you know, Lineage is you know, I don't know if you're into MMOs or whatever, but it's a old title, right? This goes back 20 years of like, you know, it's older than World of Warcraft. So it's one of those things where Lineage is known by a lot of people that used to play it, but it's also something that a lot of the newer gamers are seeing for the first time, and it's kind of repackaged into this mobile game. And I was like looking at this like, dude, you know, I was a hardcore WoW player for like 5 years, and I was like, this is amazing looking. You know, I was like, this is like on mobile. Like I quit WoW and I miss it all the time, but I just can't afford to dedicate, you know, 22 hours a day in front of my, you know, PC anymore. I've got a family, right? So it scratched that itch that I had that was missing from like the MMO days.
No, I was watching you on Facebook streaming the other day.
Hey,
it looked cool.
Nice.
And I don't have that question in front of me. but I know that it was asked. Why? I noticed that you and Ash, or whoever it was, and I also noticed, you know the question that's coming. I see your smile coming.
Oh, yeah.
Why are you streaming on Facebook? I used to watch you on Twitch all the time. Why are you making the switch? Is Facebook showing a little love?
It's showing a lot of love. And that's something that I just couldn't say no. I mean, it made zero sense to say no to from that perspective. They're trying to make an entry into the streaming game, right? And I definitely think that they have some hurdles. I think that there's a lot of stuff that they could be doing better. But they kind of told us up front, like, listen, we're willing to subsidize you for your efforts in order to help us first populate this platform with content, and B, make it better, like help consult with us to like make this a better experience. And that for me hits home with like what I'm all about, is like trying to make the perfect platform as far as you know, people to enjoy, to whatever. And the funny thing is, in the past, I've been like anti-Facebook, right? Like my personal Facebook hasn't been touched in forever. And it's not so much the platform itself that I didn't like. It was just all the people, like, just stupid crap like that people do on their personal Facebooks. I would just avoid it, you know, like the political talk, the opinions, like all this crap. But like, I was like, okay, so you guys are going to go hard at like streaming and gaming and stuff. And I had an opportunity, like they reached out to me and like, listen, we want you to pioneer this program. And be one of the very few mobile gamers that are out there that we're actually going to promote and, you know, help out. And I was like, wow, really? And I mean, when Facebook says they're going to do something, right? I mean, this is a company with 2 billion, you know, users. Everybody has a Facebook. And I'm thinking, man, if this actually was successful, if it did take off, like what better place to be integrated with and working with than them. So I see a lot of things that I'm already taking to them, like, yo, you need to make this better. There are certain things that I don't necessarily want to mention because I don't know what they're going to do, and I don't know my agreement, whatever.
That's fine.
But yeah, so I mean, as far as like the move from Twitch and whatnot, it was never like I was kind of just over streaming on Twitch. Like I wasn't a huge Twitch fan as far, like I love the community, like the people. That's what kept me there. And, you know, the incentives, I guess, for being there from Twitch themselves were like nothing. And for those of you that, you know, stream that, you know, I mean, it was just like, holy cow, like I'm spending so much time doing this. And it came down to like, I just can't justify as often as I'm on anymore. And now I can. And I can totally be around often. And I plan to stream, you know, 5 days a week for hopefully years to come. So we'll see. And I love it. I enjoy it. Like I love hanging out with the community. So we'll see what happens on that front. You guys, I haven't even announced it publicly. This is kind of the first time I'm talking about it at all. I was trying to make sure I was clear legally to like do everything that I want to do. That's why I'm streaming to like 7 people right now, is like, I've just been flying under the radar and like, you know, so I think everything's situated and you're going to hear a lot more from me on that. You're going to see like, yo, I'm live. Like you're going to get links to that and whatnot. So I'm excited. So hopefully we'll see some of you guys out there. If you haven't followed me on Facebook, shameless plug, go do it now at official Powerbang Gaming. So cool. Thanks for that opportunity.
That's kind of cool though, man. I saw that you were streaming. I think you were streaming to 17 people. I'm like, you know what? That's cool because I could hop in there and I could talk to PB. Because when you're streaming to 500, you know, you're lost in the chat.
Like,
I try my hardest to like read everything, and I do pretty good up to about like 600 people, and then it's like it's getting pretty hard, you know. Like it's starting to fly. Exactly. I'm sitting here trying to, you know, that's the one really nice thing about streaming Clash is like, especially when I'm not in the war, I don't have to focus on anything. I can focus on the audience, you know, and that's something that I really enjoy. Yeah. So.
Lady B had a question on the whole Facebook thing because she's a Twitch streamer herself. She asks, is Facebook the right target market age demographic for gaming? You know, usually a lot of Facebook people are a little bit older than what we would anticipate watching.
I agree. That's a great question. I don't know is the answer right now. I just started paying attention there as far as like, you know, we're all looking at our demographics. We're looking at our statistics. We're looking at our analytics. I am really tapped in with YouTube. I know what's there. I know what, you know, age groups I can reach. I know the type of people that are watching. Facebook, I really have no idea. I know that it's much easier to, I guess, grow a channel there as far as like numbers are concerned, because you can literally pay for it. Like you can sponsor posts and, like pay-per-click advertising essentially, where, you see those sponsor posts come up. Like that stuff really works, and it works well. I do a little bit of that, but I want to grow organically, right? Like I want to get in front of people that want to watch me for me and watch the content or what I'm doing because they enjoy it, right? And like it's not like I'm trying to buy viewers or anything like that. But all you're doing is you're essentially paying Facebook for exposure. Now, a lot of what I'm doing with having any sort of budget set aside for growth is trying to accelerate the amount of data that I can consume to make educated decisions about what you just asked. Like, what is the target market there? What is the age group? Where are these people coming from? I don't see it being a bunch of old folks, though, so far. It's not. I don't have concerns, I guess, as far as like it being the right people. It may not be trendy currently. I think a lot more people are locked in on, your Instagram and your Twitch. And, there's some competitors out there for sure. But I think they've got the manpower, the resources to become that place if they have the right plan and can execute well. And from what I've seen delivered from them to me so far, most of which I can't talk about, I think they're on the right track. But it's going to take time. So it's one of those things, like for me, they were just like, listen, be patient, but, interact with us and give us that information that we need to make this better, both for you as well as the viewers. So that's something I'm invested in now, and I'm hoping to, I don't want to waste my time doing it. It's not like I just want to go spin my wheels there for a little bit and then try to figure something else out in a year or whatever. I want to make it a success, and anything that I can do to help that happen, I'm happy to do.
That's cool. It's awesome that you guys got the opportunity to do that, and hopefully it gets where you want it to be. So it's not just an opportunity; it actually turns into something. That'll be awesome.
That's their angle as well. So.
Yeah, I have another question, and then I'm going to go to Goon for I know he has a bunch of them over there, but this one's from JJ. I thought it was a pretty good question. For Powerbang, how difficult is it being the voice of the war community to Supercell when the community is always complaining about Supercell, especially if you're less directly involved in the community than you were in the past? So you're the war guy, man. Yeah, they sent a lot of tough ones in.
Well, no, I mean that's a JJ. That's a great question, and it's something that I often find myself asking. Like, what am I doing? Why do I care? It's a thankless position. It's a thankless job. There's a lot of things that I've worked hard on over the past 3 years in order to get things to where they are today, including like trying to put CWL on the map and trying to get the finals in Finland. Trying to get like exposure, trying to start up like YouTube to get that stuff off the ground, trying to be as big of a beacon as I possibly can be for fair play, even though I'm not 100% successful at that, as many of you guys know. But the sad part is all of this effort that's gone into it. Like no matter what you do, how hard you try, the integrity, the morals that you try to have, people are going to be unhappy. And I catch a lot of flack for that. I've become somebody that a lot of people are pissed at for whatever reason. And that, like, I feel it. It sucks. And it definitely makes you wonder, like, why do you try so hard to fight these people's battles that ultimately turn around the first time they can fire shots at you and fire them, Mm-hmm. And so that's a question that I've been wondering, like, as far as Clash is concerned, like, that's one of the reasons that I've been a little bit less visible in Clash. It's been a conscious decision, like, what am I doing here? You know what I mean? So you guys are getting a little behind the scenes, you're getting under the hood of PB's emotions.
Yes.
But no, like, honestly, I don't take it personally. I'm not sad. I'm not crying about it, but it's just one of those things that I look at and I'm like, why am I spending all this time? You know what I mean? So yeah, that's been tough. And then as far as like being that voice for the war community, I still care. Like, I still want nothing but the best for competition, for Clash, for while I don't like put myself on the roster anymore for WHF as far as CWL, that's not because I don't care or I can't play. It's because I feel like other people deserve it more than I do. I feel like the people that come through our organization, come through the, you know, the YouTube channel or whatever, and they apply and they, you know, they're putting in sketches and base reviews and building their own bases like multiple times a week and putting in all of this effort, friendly challenging 8 hours a day. Yeah. Who am I to be like, yo, I'm just going to have you take a seat this week. I'm going to take the slot, you know, for the CWL roster, even though I haven't done anything to prepare over you. And I personally, I try to be fair about those things. And when I see, you know, room for 7 Town Hall 11s on the roster and we've got 15, all of which are as good as me or better, like there's no way in hell I'm putting myself in front of that line. So that's kind of the reason, like, I don't find myself on the roster a lot, but I'm still around. I'm still rooting on my team. I'm still very much immersed in like what is going on. And I'm still doing stuff behind the scenes and talking with the league and that kind of stuff, even though it might not be visible to people. So that's just something that, you know, keep in mind. Keep in mind. I still love y'all. Yeah,
and when you're a public figure, like a YouTuber, especially one that's like you know, people just expect that what they see on YouTube is what you're doing, and they forget that there's stuff that goes on besides what's filmed. So, you know, it's great that you can come on here and like kind of let people know this stuff, and, you know,
for sure.
Peeling back the layers of PB right here.
I don't ever get real like that publicly. Like, I don't ever share like me. You know what I mean? Like, I do to an extent, but like, I never tell people like how I'm feeling or like, hey, let me just sit on this couch here and vent. You know, I never do that stuff. So it is kind of cool to have people to talk about. And like, I guess there's like this lens right now where you've got, you know, some people watching or they can reference this. And, you know, it is what it is. But no, ultimately, I'm really happy with what, as a community, we've been able to create and put out there, given what we have to work with. I think everybody out there that has taken any sort of like active role in producing, creating, administrating, nothing but respect and hats off to all of those people. You guys all catch way more flack than you deserve. And personally, I think that's a lot of BS, but hey, it is what it is. So my hat's off to you guys, and thank you for what you do for the community.
Yep. Well, I got to say, man, I know that you guys pushed, especially UPB, having a voice, you know, with Supercell directly, got, you know, friendly challenges instituted, friendly wars instituted. Those are two of the greatest things to me that's ever happened for the game. Friendly challenges has improved people's skill set exponentially for wars, and it helps people to become better and more fluid in war. You know, they can practice in their clan, and that's one of the most instrumental things, I think, for I guess for skill sets to grow. And doing that alone, I thank you so much. And of course, the friendly wars too, man. But those are the two most awesome things that have come out of you, kind of being the voice of the war community, I think.
I definitely feel like we had an opportunity to like do a lot of things that were lacking in competitive Clash and just like a war community type of things that were needed. You know, I felt like we had an opportunity to make some serious strides and improvements there. And I can't take 100% credit for that. Although I will say I've been to Finland like 15 times, and every single one of those times, I guarantee you that I was talking to somebody, putting bugs in people's ears, and sometimes being very aggressive about like what this game needs. And you know what I mean? Like to the point where I hope they invite me back. You know what I mean? Like there were times when I went hard, you know, and you know, it's something that only those really, really close to me know, but I really tried. I lobbied hard for a lot of features that are currently in the game, and some that, you know, haven't made it in. Hopefully, you know, maybe soon. We'll see. But yeah, I'm happy with a lot of the changes that I feel that I've helped influence. But I can't take credit for this stuff, just me. I'm just like saying, hey, this is, as a proxy, this is what my community wants. You know what I mean? Like, this is what I'm hearing the most of. And I can't pitch every single idea, but the ones that come up over and over and over again that are just obvious low-hanging fruit, I drive that stuff home like crazy.
Right on. Well, I'm going to segue into this question, Powerbang. And this is from Zeus of EOV. He says, Powerbang, as you are a part of leadership of a clan that takes part in the highest echelon of competitive wars, what would you say to someone to reach there? Should I try, basically?
That's a great question. You know, it depends on where you're at. Like, part of it's having a self-awareness of where you're at and where you want to be. As with anything, It's almost like setting a plan of action, a business plan, so to speak, and working your way backwards from the goal of where you want to be. Like, what's it going to take to get there? And then you try to meet those mini milestones as you can, and you celebrate those successes, and you try to find people. That's the most important thing, is to find people that are like-minded, that, if you have those goals, to communicate to them that they're on board with those goals, and you're not playing with people that, they're really good, but they really don't want the same things out of the game as you. That all comes to a head, sooner or later. And you're like, oh man, like, you want us to be super hardcore. Well, we weren't really thinking that, So you got to kind of get on the same level as far as your teammates, and everybody's kind of working together. I highly recommend creating an atmosphere that, focuses on friendship and camaraderie and environment, where it's a place genuinely people want to be. And they enjoy being, versus just like expecting results, in the game. So that's something that I recommend. And then just trying to be as organized as possible when it comes to managing, your organization, and that stuff all helps as well. And again, finding co-leaders that you can rely on, trust, delegate to, all of that is extremely important. So if you could find a group of really as many people as want to help out, and you can, share with them what your goals and objectives are, what the vision is, and get them to buy into it, and then have them help you run that ship, you're going to get to where you're going a lot faster than you trying to carry the load yourself. So that's kind of where I would go with that.
For sure.
Let's
you want me to?
What's up?
Oh, go ahead. I was going to say, you want me to ask him another one, or you want this
I'll
one?
go with one. I got one from Jim Emmett. He says, if you watch your oldest videos, he's talking to all of us, I guess. Do you think your personality on your videos has changed? So if you go from your year 1 to your year 3, or for me and Goon from year 1 to year 2, have we changed?
100% yes.
Yeah?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I can elaborate a little bit. Part of that is just getting more comfortable. Being comfortable not only in my own skin, but also not giving a, about what people think. Like, I'm going to be myself. I'm going to have fun with it. And for me, like, when I make content, like, I'm having fun, and that's important to keep me going and to keep me motivated. And for me, part of that fun is in the edit, is in doing things that I find humorous or whatever, and hopefully the viewers will too. And I realize a lot of that personality, not everybody likes, and I'm cool with that. So it's one of those things where, I just try to go out, do the best I can, be entertaining, while still being able to educate and still being able to show people things that they can't find elsewhere, or things that are hard to find elsewhere, while at the same time trying to be entertaining and engaging for the general audience that is, viewing the video. So definitely in seasons, 1, if you want to call it that, like, I look at like what I was doing, it was very dry, like very like strategic, matter of fact. And like a lot of people appreciated that approach. I do to an extent, but it also, like, for me, I can't watch that, like it would just bore me so quickly. So I tried to just inject a little bit more personality, I guess, into the content. And that's kind of where I'm at today.
I like the zeal, man. I like the zeal.
I appreciate it, brother.
I got one from Blaze. He's asking, how'd you get your name? Powerbang.
Powerbang.
Because it sounds awesome.
Dirty, right? No, it's super innocent. It's one of those things where in retrospect, like, maybe I go with something different, but whatever. Just try the early days of going to powerbang.com. That was a little shocking for Mom when I told her. Well, yeah, anyway, I digress. So we go back to how we named ourselves. It was honestly playing a game called Star Wars: The Old Republic. Another MMO style game on the PC. I was super pumped for it. Star Wars, right? Can't even imagine how pumped I was. And so I went and bought that thing and came back, got it all installed. And it was one of those, you had the CDs. It wasn't like you just installed it off the cloud at your leisure or whatever. These ancient, DVD ROMs with the, the data on it that it had to install. And it took forever. And by the time I finally got this, 4 gigabyte game installed or whatever it was, I was itching to play. I wanted to get in and just start murking stuff. And, it didn't let me start playing. It was just, hey, what's your name going to be? And I'm like, no. We can't be bothered with this right now. What? I don't know what I want my name to be. And at the time, I was coming from like a professional Counter-Strike background, and I kind of wanted to distance myself from that like persona or that, identity or whatever. And at the time I was known as Destroyer, and it was the most generic, like, stupid name in the world, all caps at that. So Destroyer.
Cap lock.
Exactly. So I was like, you know what? I need to mix that up. I'm going to go with something different, but I had no plan or idea of what I wanted to do. So I was listening, just like you see me right now. I had some headphones on while I was getting ready to play, and I think I had some Nirvana playing, and I'm just like, yeah, Powerbang. I'm like, oh, there it is, Powerbang, let's go. And so I entered it in. That was all the thought that went into it, and it stuck. I ended up becoming kind of a well-known player on multiple games with that name, and I was like, well, I can't change it now, so I just ended up keeping it.
Stuck. That's funny because my name came from a bunch of music as well.
Really?
Yeah, just putting a few songs together and coming up with something I thought was cool many years ago, and just stuck for that long.
How long have you had your name?
I created my name when Gears of War 1 came out. That's when I got back into gaming. Was
that like mid-2000s?
Yeah, Xbox 360, Gears 1. Man. I don't remember the release date of it, but my buddy was playing it. I hadn't played video games in years, and I'm like, this game is sick. I just loved it, and completely got back into gaming from there, which, I've talked about my transition from PC to mobile, or Xbox to PC to mobile. But yeah, it was all just from music and stuff. Music has big influences on people, man.
For sure.
Let's get into a question here. Winter Olympics are going on right now. What is your favorite event? Goon, the Olympics are sports that people compete in. Every 2 years you have a summer, and then the 2 years after you have a winter event.
Well, look, I'm actually into the Olympics, man. I'm really big into the Olympics.
What event do you do? Are you a curler?
I'm into curling. How'd you know? I mean, I'm really big into that.
You seem like a sweeper. Yeah.
It's funny. I was at the bar after work on Friday, and that was what was on the TV, curling. It's
curling. That's right, man.
Fun to watch. Any Olympic sport is fun to watch because it's something you don't get all the time. So it's just something different.
That's true.
But that skeleton, though, that's some crazy stuff. Those guys, they're going fast. That's scary.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that is scary.
I get hyped for the Olympics, man. I haven't watched any of it this year. I've been too busy, but I love it. I think it's awesome. And I definitely... I would say hockey's got to be my favorite. I love watching it.
Okay.
Olympics especially, when you're playing for your country, there's something special about that. And regardless of who wins, I just love the competition. Another, I do like watching the snowboarding as well. Those guys are amazing. Mm-hmm. And curling does it's funny. I like watching women's curling though. I mean, it's cool. So yeah. Anyway, Olympics are awesome. Is the moral of the story? I do enjoy them.
I'm going to ask you a question right now. I mean, I'm a phys ed teacher, so I'm involved in sports. Right. I have been my whole life. This is just something that's completely off topic. But as an educator nowadays, everything is going towards there's no winner. Everyone gets a trophy. Everyone gets acknowledged. How do you feel about? I mean, you're one of the more competitive people and successful people in competition that I've spoken to. So how do you feel like growing up in a time where, when you and I were in school, your coach, you wanted to win and you wanted to start, you wanted to be the best. And it's transitioned so much over the past, 15 years, 20 years. Yeah. How do you feel about that change?
I feel like it's a symptom of our society as a whole. Mm-hmm. Just like this era of political correctness and everybody's a winner. I'm not a fan. In life, there are winners and losers. That doesn't mean you disrespect the losers and treat them poorly. It's not like that. That's how you learn sportsmanship. But no, I was a fan of, when you won something, it meant something. I prefer to give trophies to the winners, man. That it makes them so much more special and so much more valuable. It instills such a better work ethic to get people to aspire to get that reward. And now I feel like, we're all gonna get a trophy. It's like whatever, just show up, phone it in. Yeah. I wish it were different, truly, but at the same time, it's not a battle I'm gonna fight. I hope that. I hope that my kids, as they grow up, I can instill values in them to where, they aspire to excel at whatever it is that they do. I don't necessarily care what that is. I just want them to try their best and to work hard and try to be the best version of themselves that they can be. And I hope, I hope that all kids, do that as they're growing up. And it is a little, troublesome when you actually, like, I don't think about this a lot, but now that you asked the question, I'm sitting here like, yeah, man, it is kind of ridiculous. Everybody's getting trophies and, we're all winners, and no, we're not, I hate pretending. So yeah. That's my answer.
and I agree, and that means something.
Half the chat's pissed off at me now for
that's nothing new, right, PB?
No, it's all good. It's all good. I got a question here, PB. Oh, I'm sorry, Echo. You got something coming up?
No, I was just gonna say, and that means a lot. I mean, we all have kids, so
right.
With our own kids, you would think we'd be a little bit more sensitive and say, you know what, trophies for all are not bad because we're thinking about our kids and how we want them to feel good. But you're saying that. You prefer they earn it, and I like that.
Earn it and be a parent and make them feel good. If they fall short, make them feel good about their shortcomings, and then work with them to get to that level where they're aspiring to be. And I will say, enough. you got a cute kid, bro. I saw him boogieing today on
you saw
Twitter,
him dancing there?
Oh, I did. I tune into that stuff. So that was good, man. I got a little giggle out of that for sure.
Yeah, good. I'm glad. Thank you. All right, what's the question?
I got a question from Alex80, and he says, and this is a content creator question. He says, Powerbang, coming from a guy who wants to get into streaming / recording content, what are some of the unexpected setbacks you experienced when growing to become a successful YouTuber?
Ongoing technical issues of any and all kinds. You name it, it'll happen. It's being able to think fast, be flexible, and to work around that stuff. As far as like overall growth, it's a grind, brother. It's a grind. I think any of the content creators out there would agree with that. And regardless of your size and whatnot, like everybody had the whole road to get to where they're at. And I think that obviously you want to be able to objectively look at your statistics, look at your metrics, and try to improve over time. You want to be trending upwards always, but that's not always going to be the case. If you're not trending upward, if you're falling short of your goals or where you want to be, you have to be able, again, to objectively, without emotion, look at where you're at and try to find out why you're not trending to that place you want to be, and then try to make the necessary corrections to your content, could be to yourself, that you need to make in order to make you reach those goals. And I think that's something that a lot of people, it ties real well in with that last question we just talked about, as far as everybody getting a trophy. I think this is a generation of entitlement, and a lot of people think that just because they show up, it should work for them. And that is not necessarily the case. And this has nothing to do with the individual who asked this question. I have no idea who asked it or what their channel is or where they're at. I'm just saying that there's a lot of people out there that, oh yeah, I'm gonna be a YouTuber. I'm gonna be a streamer, and they turn on their camera and they just expect it to happen. And it's not like that. It's not like that at all. You got to put in the hours, you got to put in the effort, and then you really have to hone the craft. Like, you have to look at what's working and what's not, and that's different for every single individual. We all have our strengths, we all have our weaknesses. Obviously, you want to hide your weaknesses and focus on your strengths. To give specific examples to that, if your strengths are like you're really good at a game, focus on that. Be that pro player, be that resource, be that strategy guy or girl. If you're an engaging, bubbly person that isn't really good, but everybody loves you, focus on that. Drum up that part of your content and really kind of, bring to the forefront what you're good at and what people like in you and what you get the most positive feedback on. So that's, I guess, my best advice for you.
That's great stuff there, PB. That is great advice. Now I got a silly question. Sure. This is from Paul Salesman, FL. He says, the question is for all of us. Which Clash of Clans character do you relate to the most and why?
I'm going last. I got to think on this one.
Yeah, I think
Echo.
as well.
Come on. I'm going BK, bro. I'm the king, bro. Let's go.
Oh, love it.
King.
Oh, man. Let me think.
Because he's OP. He's OP. he stands in front of everybody, takes the heat, so everybody can get the glory. BK, let's go.
I'm going to go to my lab right now and look at my options, actually. So
while you do that, I've got an answer.
Okay, go do that.
I'm going to go with the healer. I feel like in life and a lot of my, I guess, tasks or, endeavors that I have going on, I play a support role of doing whatever needs to happen in order to be successful. I don't care what that hat is. I don't care what role that is. I'm not somebody that needs a lot of glory or whatever for whatever that is. And I think the healer is perfect for that role. So I think I would go with the healer, even though she's a chick and much more attractive than me. I guess that's just something I aspire to as well. That soft white hair. So the healer.
Then mine is going to have to be the golem. I feel like in life, and this is more, honestly, this is more speaking about my job. I work with kids that have a lot of issues, and I feel like I deal with a lot of stuff to make their lives just a little bit better. I'm not saying I'm the best at it or I'm successful all the time, but I feel like I carry a lot of weight, and that golem leads the way and kind of has everyone behind him to be successful. And as far as my job goes, which is, most of my life, golem fits me.
Hey, I love it. Hey, I want you guys both to pat yourselves on the back, because this is a question that's come up on every podcast that I've ever done. And this was the most well thought out, best answers that I've seen on any of those podcasts at all. Because normally it's like, hey, I like the Hog Rider because he's got a sweet beard, And it's like there's no depth to the question. So I just salutes to you, gentlemen. That was some good stuff right there. It was deep.
Thanks, good.
It's the W fuel, man.
Yeah.
All right, I have a question here. Goon, please ask PB the following. This one's from Ray. What's your daily routine like every day, putting up content, and what's been the most difficult for you as a YouTuber? So I guess, what does your day look like? I mean, I know you got a lot going. You work for different companies. A nutshell of it? Yeah.
Man, that's a great one. I think to answer the second question first, what's the biggest struggle is to consistently answer what the first question was, which is, what does my day look like? What am I doing? How am I structuring everything? Time management is key. Essentially, I've got 35 hours of work to do every day, but I'm only in the office for 16. So it's like, what do you prioritize? What do you do? What do we drop the ball on? What do we try to hire out to help? What do we delegate? What do we say, hey, wifey, can you take care of this for me if possible? Pretty please, thank you. There's a lot of stuff like that I struggle with, and it's very difficult to grow in this industry because anybody that has the skills to do what you do or to help you do what you do is already trying to do it for themselves. And so it's difficult to find that helper that can do whatever it is, whether it's like graphics related, or maybe it's editing videos, or maybe it's whatever that could actually save you significant time. Mm-hmm. That's something that I've yet to come across that is able to do what I do at my standard. As far as what a day looks like, normally I'll wake up. I'm up real late every night, so I typically try to sleep in as long as I can in the morning to like make sure that I'm like healthy-ish. Getting at least a few hours of sleep. So I'm up usually around 9:30ish, in the office by like 9:30 or 10. And then I go through all of the overnight crap that came in that's urgent. I typically spend about an hour or so in the morning working with other creators, other content creators on whether it's planning for their channels, branding, facilitating their streams or their contests or whatever. I do a lot of this through my community manager position at PlexChat. I am currently leading the charge on something called Path to Pro. Some of you guys may have heard of that in social. It's on PlexChat is producing basically a Clash Royale tournament where relative unknown players can go pro if they perform well. And we've got agreements from all of the Clash Royale, not all, but the major Clash Royale pro teams that would actually be willing to extend contracts to the people that make it through this. So that's something that I've kind of helped facilitate from the ground up. And again, these are the types of things that people don't know that I'm involved with or do behind the scenes. Clash Royale, right? Like I don't even play that game at all, right? So, but yeah, I'm behind the scenes helping the pro scene there, helping other players, and that's kind of like my morning. I get graphics created for PlexChat for like their social media and whatnot. I do a lot of internal stuff for, you know, Plush Chat and like where they're going, like the different initiatives that they're working on. And then also during that time, I'll typically do my own personal business as far as like whether or not I'm talking shop with like, say, a sponsored video or a, you know, a potentially like a brand deal or something like that. Like I'll do my business in the morning, you know, up towards around noon, try to have all that kind of stuff done. And then like I'll have meetings probably a couple hours out of the day, either with Plush Chat or Facebook or I have an agency that I just signed on with a couple of weeks ago. So it's just kind of like strategizing around my own type of stuff. And then I talk with my man Clash with Ash off and on throughout the day, every day. He and I are really close, and we do a lot of comparing notes, strategizing, helping each other out. Like he is a guy that he's a visionary. He's an idea guy. But
Absolutely.
if he falls short anywhere, it's on the execution of technical aspects of it, and that's where I excel. So he leans on me heavily for that stuff, and I lean on him heavily for, hey, man, like, what do you think I should do on whatever? Like, give me an idea. And so it's a great, like, you know, mix there. So we go back and forth all day. Then it's basically making my content for the day. I typically am working on 3 videos roughly at the same time. I make videos for Facebook, video on demand for Facebook. I make videos for my YouTube channel. I make a sponsored video, a more edited. Right now it's Lineage, but there's probably always going to be something rotating through that slot, just from a business perspective. And I'm typically like doing editing, like, I don't know, a 10, 15-minute video, sometimes even 20. And it's a lot of effort that goes into those because it's like cutting things over time and like, you know, splicing stuff together and trying to do a professional job that I'm, you know, truth be told, being paid to do. I want to represent, you know, whoever's hiring me in the best light possible. And then honestly, I want to make it enjoyable for the people that are watching the channel, you know? So it's a tough one to kind of manage all the different weird stuff going on. And then I have to get that video approved. So I'm sending it through, you know, my contacts at whatever game developer it happens to be, to get that all approved. And sometimes there's edits. They're like, you know, we would appreciate it if you'd add this little tidbit or remove that little tidbit. And for the most part, they're organic. I don't always get edits, but every once in a while they'll request something, and that's kind of a pain in the butt. So yeah. I do that in the afternoon. Then it's more videos, and then I stream for 2 hours in the afternoon roughly. Stop working at around 6:30 or so, go hang out with the family, kind of get everybody tucked into bed, and then I come back up to the office. Sometimes around 8 o'clock, that's when I play Lineage. Like I've got all of my clan functions and features that I'm actually missing tonight. Sorry if you're watching. So yeah, like around 8 o'clock every night, I do that. Sometimes I do it from mobile. Sometimes I do it from the office if I'm recording it or whatever. And then I typically work till 2, 3 in the morning, almost every night. Wow. And then I go to bed and do it again. So that's my life.
So someone in the chat said it's actual work, huh? You're not just gaming all day long.
No, I don't get to do as much gaming as I would like to. Mm-hmm. I would love to do more, and there's games out there right now that I look at and I'm like, man, this looks fun. But I know that if I got into it, I would want to take it to that next competitive level, and I know that I don't have time for it, so I don't even pick it up. And that's a big reason for not starting a lot of the games that I think would be really, really good.
Would one of those games be Fortnite? It seems like everyone's on the Fortnite kick.
Yeah, I think Fortnite, for me, I was into Battle Royale as a spectator a long time ago when H1Z1 was kind of pioneering that front. And I felt like, man, this is super exciting as a viewer. You know, like I was like, I can watch this never having downloaded or played it, and I'm entertained. Like I'm loving watching these streamers, you know, try to outlast, try to whatever. Like it was like watching a you know, fast-paced movie. I was like, this is awesome. And so I got into that, and then I started watching PUBG, and you know, shouts to my man, you know, Doc. Watching Doc and Disrespect, dude. Yeah. I love that guy. So you know, his stuff's entertaining as hell, and he was on the PUBG grind, and you know, doing a little H1Z1. That was entertaining, and so I've really like had a soft spot for the Battle Royale stuff. But I know if I pick that up, I'm gonna get sucked in. Like I know I'm gonna get sucked in. And on a tangent from that, it's not mobile. And that's like where I'm trying my best to keep my focus right now is like the mobile platform. And so I'm not opposed to PC gaming, but it's also a big shift from where I've currently positioned myself in the niche that I kind of own in my channel space. So that's kind of where I'm at with Fortnite. I think it looks awesome though. Yeah, I would love to give it a try, but yeah, I don't know if that'll happen or not.
Yeah, I watch Allier's videos almost every day on Fortnite, and I barely play the game. I've maybe played 10 rounds, and I'm awful, by the way.
I've never played PUBG. I got a PS4. I'm just waiting on it to come out for the PS4. But I watch Dr. Disrespect all the time, dude. I watch his videos. I love that guy's. I love his persona. It's funny, entertaining. Yeah, love it, dude. The guy's amazing.
394.
Two-time
video game champion of the world of two-time.
Two-time.
It's good stuff. I've had thoughts about like literally starting a brand new like brand and presence, kind of something similar where it's like not me, but just some, like I don't know. I've had thoughts. I was like, man, I could totally do that. But I don't want to like come off as like copying somebody, So I've not gone that route, but it seems a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, for sure. Look, I got a question from Leanna. She says, what was the first league match you ever played in, and what town hall level were you? And then there's a secondary question. So first we'll get into that.
It's a great question. I don't know. It all blends together, because like I've been in competitive wars since there really were competitive wars, like when arranging was first a thing. I was on that scene. Our first arranged war that we ever did was with One Hive, so we jumped straight into the deep end. I'm trying to remember CWL, like what I even was at that, because I mean that wasn't that long ago, so I don't feel like I was a Town Hall 9. Although I guess I could have been. I don't really know. But CWL was like the first league play, I guess, that I was in, because I think in general the war community, the fair play community, was opposed to leagues because there was no real way to, monitor the cheating. There's no policing it, and I mean, is there even now? Who knows? But I don't know if it's really gotten much better. But it got to the point where at least we were seeing action taken by Supercell here and there, so it was like, okay, at least there's some risk now to doing that. And so I think CWL season 1 obviously was my first organized league play. And then I played up through the beginning of season 2. And then at that point, I kind of stepped aside from my clanmates to, carry the torch. So
now the follow-up to that, Lena, I think I got it right this time. Lena says, beer, booze, or neither?
Beer, booze, or neither. If I had to give a truthful answer, neither. I'm not a big drinker, and some of you guys may object to that. You've seen a few older streams where I've consumed a large amount of Fireball. Yeah, I mean that's fun, right? Getting paid to drink, but it was one of those things where it was something fun I never really expected that to take off like it did. Like, geez Louise, there were some seriously generous supportive people, and I remember doing background checks on certain generous donations to see, like, bro, are you, like, did you steal your mom's credit card, or like what's going on here? I would literally go do background on them because I wanted to make sure that this is of their own free will and not, that's the last thing I want is to be taking money from people. And that's, to tie Facebook back into it. That was another huge reason that I signed on there, was that the financial requirement, I guess, to suck up that much of my time is then taken on by a corporation rather than the viewer base. So like, I don't have to, donations are nice. Sure. I appreciate the support, but like, I don't have to get them, in order to make it worth my time. And so that's, for me, huge. I always kind of said when I was streaming before, it was like, I would love eventually to pass that cost on to people that's in a marketing budget somewhere. You know what I mean? So that's kind of something that I've been able to do, and I'm thankful for it. As far as, back to the follow-up, though, man, what the hell were we even talking about, Goon?
Beer, booze, or...
Beer, booze.
Beer, booze, or neither.
If I had to take a choice, it's a hard tie between the beer and the booze. I'd take like a dark beer or a stout. Not a Bud Light or a Miller Lite guy. Like I'm not a, American light beer. That's not me. Like it's got to be a real man's beer. You know what I mean? If I'm gonna drink it, and then the liquor, I'll take like a mixed drink, here and there. When I'm out on the town or whatever. But yeah, I'm not that guy that's like trying to crack open a beer every single day or anything like that.
Right. I save mine for the stream typically.
Yeah.
Cheers
There's
to you guys.
Place. There's a time and place. I feel like streams are a great place to get plastered.
Yeah.
I'm gonna grab or jump into a few questions that we got in the chat right now because I'm all out of questions. We got through the majority of them.
Okay.
I got one with gaming with guns. Is if there was any troop that you could delete, change, or replace, what would it be? And I guess if you were to replace your most hated troop, what would you replace it with? So, what troop would you like to see out? I'm assuming of Clash of Clans, if any.
Are these directed at me just specifically, or are we all gonna roundtable this?
We're all gonna answer them.
I guess I can start off. If I had to pick one troop that was gone from Clash of Clans, I would probably select the bowler. I don't necessarily dislike the bowler, but it's just made certain things really, really easy. Town Hall 9 specifically. And I feel like Town Hall 9 would be a much more interesting place if you couldn't bring those max CC bowlers. And, yeah, I mean, you're seeing, I can't tell you how many attacks I've watched where you've got 16 hogs for a back end attack and you don't even need any of them. And it's just like,
that's true.
What? It's so OP. And it's not that I feel like bowlers are bad. I think it's more of like they should restructure how Clan Castle donations work. But it's too late for that, honestly. It's kind of, they've dug a hole there. But yeah, I mean, I guess bowler, I think they've done a good job, honestly, of really every troop kind of has its spot and nothing really is out of place in my opinion. But yeah, I think just from the impact it's had on the game, bowler, if that went away, I wouldn't cry.
Good.
You know what? That I'm gonna have to. Well, I'm gonna have to kind of agree with PB on that because I literally just made a video today, and it was interesting to make because it was actually some Town Hall 10 and Town Hall 9 attacks without bowler CCs, like especially the Town Hall 9 attacks. Like literally, they were back to the older meta attacks, and you know what I mean by that, PB. I mean the original attacks. You didn't have bowlers, like attacks with the new Max Golem, for instance. I mean attacks with Valkyrie CCs, attacks with Hog CCs. That's something that's rare right now in the game. Typically, like of the attacks I cover that are skill or kill squad based. Typically, you're going to see bowlers in the CC.
Can I? And I'm gonna answer again.
Yeah,
I blacked out. I lied. It's not bowlers. It's witches, hands down.
Oh,
I hate witches. Everybody knows that. And I'm seeing in the chat, they're like, "Oh, I would have thought it was witches." And I'm like,
man.
yeah, those are a troop. I've just completely erased them from my cognizant. Like, I don't acknowledge them as a thing. So yeah, man, witches, 100% witches. They're not. They're not bae. I don't like witches.
You're not a fan of those spam attacks from your past, right? Yeah.
Hate them.
Come on, PB, set it and forget it. Just set it and forget
dude.
it.
I know that's what I always preach. It's like, hey, man, if you want to, I mean, it works. Don't get me wrong, but that's why I hate it. Because I hate, dude. Yeah. I remember old meta when they first buffed the witch. It was like this. I can't remember the exact timeline of it, but it was like they buffed witches twice in a row, and they were like ridiculous OP. I remember an attack that a Town Hall 11 did. It was a Town Hall 11 dip on a 10. And that was when dips were not a like guaranteed thing. It was like, 60-70% hit rate or something like that. And I remember somebody had 19 witches in a raid, and they literally one finger dropped them all on the same tile. And
wow.
three-starred, smashed the base. And there was no rhyme or reason to where they deployed, no funnel, nothing. And I was just like, oh, I'm done. Like, I can't even with that,
Wow.
So that's my gripe is witches.
I bet PB or Ash would argue with you on that. Ash wanted the witches, bring back the witches, and now they're here.
agree to disagree on that one, little buddy.
I got a question from Spooby. Would you rather have an over offensive or an over defensive meta? I'm assuming he doesn't want to talk about them being balanced. If you had to choose one, offensive or defensive?
Offensive. It's more fun to be successful, and I think that's the route that Supercell has kind of gone.
Especially with the last update, yeah.
Yep, exactly. I find myself 3-starring all the time. You know, like, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I'll cook a standard army and just go whatever, and I can look at my battle log from just farming or whatever, and I'm going up against near max Town Hall 11s, and it's a 3-star like 7 out of 10 times maybe, and that's not a thing a few months ago. You know what I mean? Like, you were lucky maybe 2-3 times out of 10 maybe to get that 3-star, and now it's just like every base is just getting smashed, and when they're not, it's like 92% or something, and wow, you know, like that's such a drastic shift for me from what it was before. I think a lot of, you know, obviously the base design meta at the competitive level is well thought out. It's a lot harder to 3-star those bases, but even at that level, I think a lot of attacks are really overthought. And a lot of people are trying to get really fancy, like with, you know, 3-layer wall breaks on queen charges and stuff. And yeah, that'll work. But I mean, bowlers, set them and forget them, you know? And just walk around and destroy stuff. If you jump in the right spots, if you get that key rage down, I mean, you can do so much damage to a base super fast. So I've softened up from my I hate it stance. I've just taken a different approach to the game. I don't treat it as competitively as I did a few months ago. I am still enjoying it, though, more casually, as I'm able to have a lot of fun just kind of dinking around with Clash more so than I used to.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
This is about your Facebook thing, and I know that you said that you haven't really been promoting it. You've just kind of been getting things started, but someone asked how they can be notified of it. If they, you know, people miss watching you live, how can they find you there?
Sure thing. You can go to facebook.com/official Powerbang Gaming. That's going to change soon to just Powerbang Gaming. I managed to get that poser off of my link.
Nice.
Yeah, so that'll change soon. But anyway, you can just look me up, official Powerbang Gaming on Facebook. And then when you click to like the page, there's a follow button right next to it. Click that. There's a drop down, and then you can set the option to be notified. I think it's on by default, but check to make sure. Anytime there's a live video or a video produced, you'll get a notification. So that's how you do it. Thanks in advance, by the way, for wanting to be notified when I stream. That's awful sweet of you.
Well, those are important. Like, I know on YouTube you have your notification for content. I care less about that because I can get your content anytime, or anyone's content. But the live streams, you know, you want to get that when it's going live, so you don't miss out.
Sure.
Know? So it's a nice.
I mean,
nice
you
feature.
can always watch it over again, but at the same time, there's nothing like watching a live stream live. You know, you get to interact, and for me, I want to be able to interact with you live because it gives me something to do and talk about. You know what I mean? Much better to have that back and forth experience while we're actually doing the stream.
Agreed. Right. What music and band are we listening to, guys? So why don't we start with Goon on this one? What do you listen to?
I listen to electronic music a lot, like I guess what is it, EGM or something they call it, or EDM, and I listen to a lot of rap music, and that's pretty much me. But I do listen to all kinds of music, really, but those are my two favorite. I like a lot of that music that's in my videos, to be honest. The beats, you know, that the good, just a good beat, man. I mean, I'm into that. So yeah.
I can kind of echo that to echo. See what I did there?
I like it. I like that.
I can kind of echo that a little bit. You know, I'm about the vibe. I'm about the beat. Sometimes I listen to songs that really I don't necessarily agree with the lyrics. My wife definitely doesn't. She'll hear me like listen to something. She's like, "What in the world are you listening to?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "Have you heard what this song's about?" And I'm like, "Who cares? Like, it sounds awesome, you know." So I'm more about like the feel and the vibe of the music. Again, like Goon, a lot of my stuff I like, you know, a little EDM, a little, I vary though. I'll listen to anything. Something that I've been bringing up a lot on the Spotify lately is some Post Malone. So I've been doing a lot of that.
Right.
Yeah, that's about it. You know, I like a lot of stuff though. Like, honestly, I vary around quite a bit. I get my fix of country music from my wife. She's big into country. and I'm not really, so I hear
Not
enough of
me
it.
either.
But everything. I mean, I like the older country, not old, but like early 2000s. And anymore, it's personally, I think it's pretty crap. But you know,
Not
whatever.
my thing.
I respect
Not
the
my
hustle,
thing.
but yeah, it's not my thing either. I like the more modern, the blends of electronic and you know, some rock and pop and whatever.
Yeah, for me, I like two. I mean, I like a lot of music also, but I like two extreme opposites. So I like really chilled out, relaxing music. Like a band that I like to listen to is Polyphia. It's just instrumental rock. And then I really like that intense, hardcore screamo. You know, really heavy stuff. I like that's what kind of got me into EDM and dubstep stuff. I like intensity of music most of the time. So I'll be listening to, you know, bands such as you Lay Dying, Killswitch Engage, and things like that are just intense. And then sometimes just some of that chilled out music. Even something like from my dad's day, Cat Stevens. You guys even know who Cat Stevens is?
Yeah.
He's like,
Yeah.
that's complete opposite of the stuff that I listen to normally. But sometimes I just want to hang out and chill to some old Cat Stevens. I don't know. Maybe it reminds me of my childhood or something. I don't know, but
That's awesome. We all have some really, you know, wide range of things that we enjoy, I suppose.
yeah, it's true. Okay, let's get to these last few. Powerbang. This one's specifically for you. Lava Hound Gaming doesn't care about mine and Goon's goals, but I guess he cares about yours. Your goal. We've actually talked about them before in the trap. What are your goals for 2018, man?
Oh man. You know, I have some channel goal. I would love to hit 500,000 subscribers this year on the YouTube channel. I don't know if that's feasible or not, but it's something that I kind of look for as something that could happen, you know. I'll be well short of it at the pace that I'm at right now, but I'm thinking, you know, maybe a game launches this year that maybe springboards it a little bit. I don't know. We'll see. So yeah, I would say something like 500,000 subscribers as far as like the channel following. I would love to see, you know, a growing Facebook platform as far as like streams are concerned, building up that audience. You know, I have financial goals as well that I'm not going to share on the stream. Those are personal, you know, but I've got some of those as well, and all is well on that front. So, you know, I'm happy with where things are at. Things are going in a positive direction. I would love to see professionally some more longer term relationships. I would love to partner with people to do bigger things than just me. I'm still trying to set some goals too for 2018. Like my goal setting for the year is not done. I'm still trying to figure out like what relationships are going to be in place to make certain things possible to even like strive for. So yeah, a lot of this revolves around like what's coming in the industry, and Brawl Stars is a big component of that. So I'm excited to see what the future holds. I don't necessarily know what it's going to be. I wish I knew more because it would make this goal setting stuff a lot easier. But I'm just like you guys in the fact that I don't know anything right now. It's just like in limbo. So I'm trying to make the most of that while bettering myself each and every day. So thanks for the question, man.
Yep.
Right.
I got Justice Susan. The question is, do you think Town Hall 12 will be in 2018? And this is someone from Clash Connections. I mean, we had Darian on the show a couple of weeks ago, and he basically was saying that he didn't 100% confirm that Town Hall 12 was coming, but something like it was coming, and he said that it would be happening this year. I'm pretty sure we're all on the same page with that one.
Yeah, I've read between the lines frequently, and I feel pretty confident in saying it's coming soon. I couldn't tell you how soon, but the fact that they're willing to talk about something publicly means it's close.
Yeah, soon enough.
They don't talk about stuff. They keep it close to the vest until it's pretty much ready to go. And I know Darian's been making an effort to increase their transparency and increase their communication, which I think he's done a fantastic job of. And I hope they give him more freedom to continue to talk and to be transparent with us. And I think that him having an American background allows him to relate to this Western audience a lot better than I think the Finns. And I love Finnish people, don't get me wrong, but it's a different personality and a different way of reading people when you talk to people over there versus over here. And they've got some folks on staff, like that's why, like Brawl Stars, for example, their community feel is so much different than Clash of Clans. And it's the person leading that team is from LA. So it's just different, you know, and it's not bad either way. But I definitely appreciate being open and honest, and I can handle the truth. I can handle it. So I do appreciate it when Darian is able to speak to some things that are coming. So I definitely think it's got to be soon.
Yep.
Oh, he dropped some bombs on that
Didn't
thing,
he?
man. I'm telling you, he dropped some bombs. I was so like just pumped after that.
For sure, man. I mean, you guys saw my video. I made a video immediately afterwards because I was like, dude, there was bomb after bomb, and I didn't want to review them all on my channel, obviously, and like steal your guys' thunder or whatever. So I tried to drive a bunch of people over to the show, and saw those numbers going up. Congrats on 30K, Echo.
Yeah, thanks
nice
a lot,
work,
man.
bro.
And I appreciate you doing that because you could take that stuff anytime that comes on the show. I mean, it sheds light on what we're doing over here as well. So
Right.
it's great.
Right.
I was happy when you hit me up. It was cool.
Yeah, I always try to ask permission for stuff like that because I'm not out there trying to, vulture the views or whatever. But like I did feel that I mean, anybody that was there that heard Darian talk was just like, dude,
Yeah.
he said that, like what?
Right.
So it was just like, man, that impression that I took, and that's somebody that has behind the scenes information typically. When I heard that even on your show, I was just like, wow, okay. So I knew that it was big news right off the bat, and I was like, I got to share this. So
Yeah.
And there was a lot of what he didn't say, just looking at his reactions that let you know the excitement that was, I mean, it was wow. I mean,
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have two more questions. One's a Clash one, and the other one is going to be the one that closes out the show, unless if Goon has more. This one's from Brian Russell. It's a question for three of us. Thoughts on these 6 to 7 day clan games every week? I've actually had a couple people say this, that they're getting burnt out on clan games because they're grinding and grinding because they want those, those rewards. So some people are actually saying they want a break. They don't want clan games going all the time. What do you guys think, Goon and PB?
Go for it, Goon.
For me, I hadn't really, I mean, the clan games I hadn't really got involved with as much, just because most of my accounts are maxed, and plus content. But I have participated some because it's kind of fun at times. I do have an 11 I'm grinding, and I'll try to participate with that one. But ultimately, I don't know. For me, it's I guess not as important as my daily grind of content. So I really hadn't got that involved with them, to be honest.
I feel you there. For me, I like it. I like the clan games. For me, it's invigorated my playing. Once again, it's for me like content. I don't need a lot of practice in this game. Like I feel like it's riding a bike, right? Like I know how to set a funnel. I know how to make my queen walk the right direction. So like when I need to get on to make some content, I do 2 raids and I'm off. I get my content. I'm good. So that's kind of the way I approach it before. But now it's like clan games. There's that board where everybody sees your contribution, and then like when I go highlight that in a video, everybody sees that I chipped in 100 points out of a potential 3,000. I feel like a dirtbag for doing it. So exactly, I'm like, you freaking bum. Come on, man, help your clan out. So I'm sitting here grinding, man. I'm happy to report. I don't know what I am now, but as of last night, I was number 3 in WHF as far as clan contribution points. We were on tier 6 so far, or maybe 4. I can't remember. V and the I, they mess with your head sometimes. Yeah, so I like them. I think that the content itself of what you're experiencing as a player is no different than what it was before, but it gives me an angle to take to every single raid, because I never go for the builder-based stuff. It's always like multiplayer battles, like what are we doing? Whether that's, you need to destroy 8 expos. So I go into the raid like, just like you would when you factor in like, I need a 2+ attack and I need to pick up the town hall. And I got to make sure that whatever angle I come in, I got to get that town hall, with it. Yeah. I'm looking at the base the same way when I go after it for expos. So I'm looking at it as a way to kind of hone my queen walking ability, or even my ability to fail while succeeding. So I try to bring it, whatever it's asking, I try to apply skills to that essentially. And I've found that kind of being fun for myself, especially somebody that's not in a lot of clan wars anymore, at least really super competitive ones. I've been finding my outlet as far as Clash of Clans, playing a lot of clan games. So yeah, I mean, I enjoy it, although admittedly, there's absolutely nothing new about it. You know what I mean? But the rewards are nice. It's helping me get my queen up super fast. I really did the rewards.
I agree.
I got a question here from Winky. He says, do you think Supercell is surprised that Clash has lasted as long as it has?
I gotta say no, but maybe maybe though a little bit. I think Clash set the standard, right, for Supercell, who they are, what their expectations are, and what they hope to get out of their games. Heyday was first, and that game is also still going strong, if you want to call it that. It doesn't have obviously the reach and the pull that Clash of Clans does, but it's not like you're sitting there having cockfights with the chickens in Heyday where it's like PvP, right? Like it's a little bit more of just a fun little activity to log on and do, kill some time. So Heyday and Clash of Clans have both been going now for 5 going on 6 years, and that is an eternity in mobile space right now because, the iPhone came out in 2007. It's only been out for just over 10 years. And over half of that time, you've got a game or multiple games that have dominated the charts and have been still, look at the charts today and you still have Clash of Clans chilling in the top 10 more often than not. Sometimes around updates, it's number 1 in top grossing. Like, what in the world? That is insane success. If you look at the Supercell numbers that they just put out here recently, they did $2.1 billion in revenue in 2017, and they did not put out a new game. $810 million in profit. So, there's a lot of expenses and a lot of overhead there. But it's got to be nice when you're writing your royalty checks, to the owners, Tencent, and you're sending them $600 million for their cut. What? Like, that's insane. They didn't even put out a game. They're just they're relying on their old stuff. And to me, that speaks volumes when you hear the clamoring in the community about, oh my God, Clash Royale's dying. It's dead. Clash is dead. Heyday sucks. Boom Beach has been dead forever. All these naysayers and people just pissing all over everything. And it's like they're sitting there laughing their way to the bank with $1 billion in profit every single year, not even putting out any new content. So I think
some of those titles are content creators clickbaiting, though. We know that. Some of that is just straight up clickbait.
For sure. I'm speaking more from the vibe that I see in the comments, right? Like,
but a lot of times those comments are driven by what people are watching on YouTube also.
Yeah.
100% agree. 100% agree. You see a lot of that clickbaity stuff as of late, and I've noticed a few trends as of recently that I've steered clear of, but I've seen them. And there's been a little bit of that, the sky is falling type of talk online, whether it's addressing what's been put out there or just going for the views in the first place. Yeah, man, I disagree wholeheartedly. I definitely think it's downtrending. I think that's impossible to deny. But as with anything, I'm downtrending. I'm dying. I will be dead someday. So it's a fact of life in anything. As soon as the game is born, it's dying. But at first, you're gonna have some fun, some peaks, some valleys, whatever. And I'm hopeful that whatever they bring to the game in Clash of Clans and Clash Royale, all the Supercell games, I'm hopeful whatever they bring in the future reignite some of that passion of the mobile industry because I really think it needs it.
Cool.
Right.
We got Captain right there in the chat just saying why they removed the contact us button. I'm not sure why they removed it, but if you remember from Darian's interview, he said the best place to send ideas, questions, concerns is on the Supercell forum. He says that that's what they're reading on a daily basis, even though they're not responding. So if you do want to get something heard by Supercell, on their forum is the best place to go. And I'm going to sum up the show with this question. It's for you, of course, Powerbang, and then we'll go say all of our goodbyes. But this is from Amartya, and this person asks, what have you learned in all of your years on YouTube, which, as you said before, is about 3 years. What's the biggest thing that you learned?
Man, that's such a broad question.
Sure is.
First of all, thank you for the question. I'm going to enjoy fielding it. Man, what have I learned in YouTube? I guess that anything's possible. I didn't really get into this with the aspirations to become a big YouTuber. That wasn't what I was doing. I had some idiot friends that I was trying to help out, and I was tired of answering the same questions over and over. And that it turned out to be a means to an end. To be like, wait, you mean I don't have to have this conversation on how to lure the CC and kill it like every single day with the new people that we were recruiting? Because when you're in these up and coming clans, it's not as established. The roster isn't as concrete as it is like in a WHF or in some of the clans that you guys are in. It's a revolving door a little bit. And you're trying to find those pieces that you can add to the puzzle that are going to stick around, that are going to be loyal, that are going to be the foundation that you build upon. And so during that time, I was asked a lot of questions about, hey, what do I do? How come you and Drew are able to get 3 stars all the time and we all suck? And it's like, well, we're doing the same thing every raid, no matter. I mean, and at the time, the anti-3 bases weren't a thing. I mean, you could just smash anything if you just applied the proper fundamentals. So yeah, it was luring the clan castle, funneling, just basics. And I got tired of answering those questions. So at the time we were using line chat. This was before Discord was a thing.
I remember line.
We had line notes, and I just put my videos in the notes in the room. And as part of our new person integration or initiation, I guess, we would say, yo, line is required. Go there, read the notes, learn how to play the game. And all of a sudden, you have more and more people 3-starring in war. And they're like, hey, man, this actually works. And so that was why I started the channel. Now, after that, I never intend, like, so when I first uploaded, I knew how, like, I have a background in marketing, right? Like, I know how stuff works. I've been a professional in the search engine optimization space, so I know how that works. But I never anticipated people giving a crap about Powerbang gaming and what I was trying to do. So I'd put these videos out there for the purpose of linking them to my clan, and then I'd check back in, and I'd realize in a week, I was like, holy cow, there's like 1,000 people that have watched this video. And why? You know? And then I start reading the comments and figuring out like what they were trying to, you know, see or do or whatever. And I was getting continued feedback of, we really think that your stuff is good. We'd love to see more. And that was kind of the gist of what I took to it. And I was like, you know what? Okay. And so at that point, I started making content for the general public consumption and trying to become like an educator and do similar content to what I had done. And I had this in my head. I had a menu. At the time, YouTube was not, I guess, saturated like it is today. There was a really wide open market. Jake was still fairly new. Like One Hive Raids was a fairly small channel when I started. But he was doing similar content to what I was doing. And that was really about it when I first started on the YouTube scene. So like, as far as competition goes, there was barely any. So it was like, I put out a list of like maybe 8 videos that I knew were like, you know, this is a staple army. This is how you funnel. This is how you do whatever. And I put those out. And I literally just a week ago went back and looked at some of the view numbers on these videos. And some of my very first videos that I ever published are up to like 400,000 views. Like my second video ever has like 250,000 views or something like that. And
wow.
that is something that I never would have imagined when I first made that, right? I was just trying to get the information out there so that it could be consumed. Right. So that's been really cool. Now, to kind of wrap up the question of like, what have I learned most about YouTube is that, oh my God, is it not the best like networking vehicle you've ever seen from a professional and a personal standpoint? I've made so many relationships with people all over the world. I've been able to develop business arrangements with people all over the world. I've been able to travel the world from it. I've been able to sign contracts with multiple businesses all over the world. And none of that would have been possible without that portal to have people view what I'm doing. So I'm incredibly thankful to the platform for the opportunity. But I think if you know, I learned anything about like YouTube and my experience is that it's a major vehicle to kind of bring exposure to whatever your message happens to be. It doesn't have to be gaming. You know, there's other things that I'm doing, ventures and stuff like my wife's starting to do, where I'm trying to use what I've learned to kind of help speed her along in what she's trying to do as well. So I think that would probably be my answer.
Cool. And that's good.
Groovy.
That's information from someone that's been there and is doing it. So I think we're going to close up shop right there, man. We've been running this show for 2.5 hours. 2 of those hours were with you, PB. And a half hour was with your imposter, Spooby. And just so you guys know...
I apologize for that. That dang Spooby. He's always trying to run around sporting a mustache. Anyway, I get really sorry for the late, guys. I really respect what you guys do here, and that was not cool with me. But
you know what, man?
Really happy to have the pleasure to come hang out with y'all.
It was awesome to have you here, man, for sure. Spooby's actually going to be going live now, guys. If you want to go to another live stream, I'm actually going to be hopping over there myself. At some point in time, he's going to be throwing a link to his stream in the chat. So if you want to go show him a little bit of love, he did step in and help us out in the beginning of this show. So it'd be cool to show that guy a little bit of love. We're going to close up. So I'm going to say everyone's face cam you see right here. Our Twitter handle is under it, and the links are in the description to our channels. If you haven't subscribed to everybody on this show yet, you definitely should. Clash of Clans content, Brawl Stars content coming out every single day. And Powerbang, why don't I give the mic to you? You could say your goodbyes and whatever you want to say.
Sure thing. Big shout out to what you guys are doing here on the Spring Trash Show and your personal channels as well. I wish both of you guys nothing but success and the best of luck. with whatever you guys want to do. You're both great people, and really happy to have had the chance to come on and hang out with you all and spend a little more time than we normally get, you know, through the occasional like DM or whatever. So that was a lot of fun. Definitely be down to do it again sometime in the future if y'all would want to have me back. I had some fun for sure. And as far as the viewers go, appreciate all your questions. Thank you guys for submitting them. It makes it, you know, a less boring experience for you all when we have stuff to talk about on this end of the camera. So thank you guys for hanging out with us. Thanks for putting up with my tardiness. And Spooby, go watch his stream, man. The dude's bomb. And when he's done, come watch my stream. I'll probably kick it live tonight as well on Facebook.
Oh, there you go. Cool. And Goon, how about
right
you?
On. Hey, I just want to thank everybody for showing up tonight. Thank you, PB, for coming in. Life happens. Don't worry about coming late. You showed up, man. You come. Everybody got their questions answered, hopefully. It was a great show, and I know you a lot better now. Hopefully our audience does too. Thank you so much.
Yeah, all right, y'all. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it was definitely great to have you, PB. Thanks so much, man. I appreciate it. And we'll probably take you up on that offer in the future when some things start happening, some different conversations can be had. We'll have you back on here.
Sure.
When the trap is huge, we'll have to see. But
yeah, brother.
But guys,
we just want to meet you in Helsinki, man. We want to meet you in Helsinki.
Dude, I'm so down for that. I've been trying my hardest to get some of the guys like you out there. You know, find an excuse, Supercell. Find an excuse. Like, you know, let's do an event. Let's do something. So if you guys want to brainstorm on that, hit me up offline. We'll see what we can come up with. Maybe pitch to them.
Sounds great.
Right on,
Thanks
man.
for that. But guys, thanks so much for coming to the channel. Thanks for coming to the Spring Trap. Episode 12, 13 is next week. I hope to see all you guys there. Remember, sub everybody, give support to everyone that's been here, and thank you all so much that have come out, throwing donations like crazy. That's appreciated. And even you guys that were just here hanging out, throwing your questions, so much love to you guys. We appreciate it. But that's been it for now. Thanks for coming down. I'll see all you guys next week on the next Trap. Be good, guys.
Take care, y'all.
We'll see you.